Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering college donors panic, threaten lawsuits as white students get paid scholarships. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Well, if you donated money to a certain college or two and you said, hey, I only want certain students to get my paid scholarship donation, then you might not be happy right now. Imagine if you donated, say, $1 million or $5 million and said, you know what, I only want white students to get this money. I don't want it going to any of those other students of other colors. They're not worthy. Well, there are some donations that have been made to some college scholarships that are specifically indicated to be only given to certain students of certain skin colors. And I can tell you this much, it's not white students. It's quite the opposite. So when the Supreme Court decided there can't be racial discrimination against college students in applications for entrance into college, that also applied to scholarships. And that has some donors that are a little bit too focused on race very upset. From the College Fix, Mizzou donors, Mizzou is the University of Missouri, feel betrayed. They can't exclude white students from scholarships. They're betrayed. How could you do this to them? Well, you know, it's not legal. You can't actually do this, even if you're hateful enough to say, look, I don't think those people of those skin colors are deserving of getting scholarship money. You've got to figure out some other way than trying to funnel the funds that you want to donate in a racist way through colleges. Colleges aren't in a position where they can do this anymore. Now, if I was operating a college and I had received donations from certain donors that said, look, we only want certain students of certain skin colors to get access to our funds. I mean, it is their funds. So should they be able to discriminate? Well, I discriminate when I go and I purchase things. I decide what I want to buy with my money. So maybe they should be allowed to do it. They just can't do it through a college. They have to find some other nonprofit or federal program or direct donation to someone they happen to know, or I don't know how to do it legally, but it's not legal through colleges. The University of Missouri's decision to end scholarships that discriminate on the basis of race has left some donors feeling betrayed. The university's 4 campuses have been working with donors to revise scholarships that exclude white students, and in some cases, Latinos, Asians, and Native Americans to ensure they comply with federal law. Quote, several of the donors in question spoke with Inside Higher Ed, some on the record, some background, for fear of jeopardizing ongoing discussions with the university. They said the conversations have been fraught, coercive, and disappointing. Several said they felt betrayed by their former institutional partners, though many conceded that the university system was in a difficult political and legal position. And to get the full story from InsideHigherEd.com, affirmative action fallout sours donor relations. The University of Missouri system is removing racial criteria from endowed scholarships, saying they run afoul of the Supreme Court's affirmative action ban. Donors feel disrespected, and some may be ready to go to court. Really, if the college can afford to do it, they should just return the money to the donors. If these donors are racist and they only want certain people of certain skin colors to have access to going to college, that's their business. The college shouldn't be any part of it anyway. But if the law says they don't need to return the donations, then they ought not to return the donations and just do the right thing, even if they don't want you to do the right thing. Do the right thing. Let the college students that really need the help have the help. Let them be part of society. Even if you had it in your heart to do the wrong thing, if the college can help you do the right thing and help a good student, then let them help the good student. Almost as soon as the Supreme Court struck down affirmative action last June, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey fired off a response. Within hours of the rulings in Student for Fair Admissions versus Harvard and UNC Chapel Hill cases, Bailey ordered the state's public colleges and universities to comply, which in his view meant removing race-conscious policies not just in college admissions, but also scholarships, an extrapolation that legal experts say is unnecessary. But it actually is necessary because if you're not going to discriminate against people based on their skin color in admissions, you can't really say scholarships have nothing to do with admissions. You ain't getting admitted unless someone's paying for your college. So making a scholarship contingent on your race kind of says it's a little too close to admissions. University officials quickly began amending institutional grants and scholarships across the system's 4 campuses. According to Christian Bazzi, the Missouri system's Director of Public Affairs. Since then, they've worked methodically to bring other awards in line, including endowed scholarships that donors specified should only go to members of certain racial or ethnic groups, meaning not white people. Such scholarships represent 2.3% of all financial aid awarded at the system's flagship in Columbia and 6.7% at the St. Louis campus. Many of the scholarships have already been amended regardless of donor consent, thanks to a clause officials began adding to donor contracts about 15 years ago that allows for revisions in the event of a challenge in federal law. Over the past year, the university has been contacting benefactors of scholarships established before then, working with them to make the awards race neutral. I'm happy for them that they were clever in their contracts and they figured out how, yes, if there was some kind of change in federal law or interpretation of law, they should be allowed to modify without the consent of the donor where the money actually goes. It's good legal work and it's good business practice to look at your contract and make sure that you're updating them to your advantage in terms of managing your business relationships. At the same time, if it was me in charge of the institution, I would give the racists back their money. Just keep your money. If you don't want these people of this skin color to get this donation, whatever, that's fine. You can keep your damn money. But there are holdouts who don't want to change their donation criteria. 53 of them, who Bazzi said the university has either been unable to reach or who have disagreements over the change. Officials hope they can resolve any issues amicably. But time is running out. If they're not brought into line with Bailey's order before the fall, the scholarships will be frozen for the next academic year. The system's board of curators is prepared to act unilaterally if they don't get donor buy-in. Last month, they filed a petition asking for the power to override the old agreements and remove racial criteria with or without the donor's approval. These colleges absolutely want this money. They operate based on money. There is ideology. And when they have more than enough money, they use their ideology to do whatever it is they want to do. But apparently they actually do really need the money, so they'll do whatever they have to do to get that money. Several of the donors in question spoke with Inside Higher Ed, some on the record, some on the down low, for fear of jeopardizing ongoing discussions with the university. They said the conversations have been fraught, coercive, and disappointing. Melinda Holmes, who helped endow a scholarship in honor of her father, Richard Holmes, was the first black professor at the University of Missouri School of Medicine. She told Inside Higher Ed that she received an impersonal form letter from the university informing her that the scholarship's criteria for African American students would have to be changed. She was devastated and distressed, but more than anything, she was pissed off, she said. Why? Because you can't just exclude certain races from scholarships? Yes, literally because of that. It's not like she earned the money. Her dad earned the money. Her dad was a professor. He would want to do the right thing. She should do what her dad would do. Let students who qualify have the money. Don't be so race-oriented. Quote, it's hard to find ways to help people. This was an exciting way to do that and to honor my father, who faced a lot of discrimination as a black doctor in Missouri and could tell you how hard it was to go it alone, Holmes said. There's part of me that really feels like this is an insult to his legacy, to all the years he gave there. Some donors said they hadn't been contacted by university officials about changing the criteria for their race-based scholarships. Sisters Mary Willis and Cynthia Willis Escueda established the Frank Neal Willis Jr. Minority Scholarship Fund in their father's name at the University of Missouri at Kansas City in 2004, which they specified should go to domestic students from underrepresented backgrounds, Native American and Mexican, like both their mother and father, or African American, to honor their parents' legacy fighting for civil rights in Kansas City. So no whites allowed, I got it, but it's not legal anymore, so it's time to back down. When Inside Higher Ed reached out to the siblings for comment, they said it was the first they'd heard about the proposed change, and they were incensed at the idea that their father's legacy would be sullied. These people are a trip. Quote, I'm shocked and surprised, said Willis, a professor of sociology and anthropology at Missouri State University. She's a professor there. My father went to UMKC, taught there for 35 years. They can't be respectful of this small little fund in his name? No, not if it's doing something illegal, sweetheart. You can't do it. Bazzi said that university records show attempts to contact the Willises in May, before the board's petition was filed. But the family maintains they never received such message. Well, just check your email. I'm sure he sent it out. You're not special. He didn't exclude you because, oh my God, you're a small little fund. The underlying premise behind Missouri's efforts is that the SFFA decision That's the Supreme Court affirmative action decision against Harvard for their race-based college application process, applies to financial aid and scholarships as well as admissions, a broad interpretation of the ruling that has been widely adopted by Republican policymakers like Bailey, and which Bazzi said the university system stands behind. Quote, "We wouldn't be taking these steps if we weren't confident in our interpretation," Bazzi said. They claim here that interpretation is very much up for debate. It's not up for debate. Some of Mizzou's affected funds are endowed by large foundations or wealthy individuals. The Anheuser-Busch African American Scholarship at the University of Missouri at St. Louis, for instance, worth up to $100,000. And yes, that's the same Anheuser-Busch that pushed Dylan Mulvaney on Bud Light. Another reason not to support Anheuser-Busch or Bud Light. But many more are small funds established to honor the legacy of someone with strong ties to the university and often stewarded by their direct descendants. A few amount to less than $1,000 a year. The Frank Willis Scholarship gives out about $500. But it basically buys student books, Willis said. It's not much, but for some students it's really meaningful. And for our family, it's a lot to do. We felt it was worth it to honor our father's past. Yeah, it is worth it, just you can't do it race-based. People try to make it so difficult. It's just, no, you can't discriminate against people even if you don't like people of certain skin colors. That's the only thing that's going on here. The scholarship that Jim and Kathy Brazil endowed at University of Missouri at Columbia in 2004 is more substantial. About $15,000 for at least 4 students each year, totaling more than $60,000. The Brazil Scholarship is not one of the 53 targeted by the Missouri System's board petition. Their contract includes the legal escape clause. But they have struggled to negotiate the post-affirmative action changes with the university. Jim Brazil told Inside Higher Ed that he wanted to create the scholarship because of his experience growing up in Missouri during the Jim Crow era. He was in the 7th grade when he witnessed the transformative power of the Supreme Court's Brown v. Board of Education decision. The Brazils meet with the scholarship winners every year. Getting to know their struggles and dreams has been one of the best things that's happened to us, Jim Brazil said. But over the last year, as UM officials made it increasingly apparent that the racial aspect of the scholarship would have to be abandoned, their relationship with the university has been strained. Quote, "There was a lot of pressure all of a sudden," he said. After he pushed back, he said the university adopted a more aloof tone. Quote, "They said, if you don't want to let us rewrite this thing, then we're going to rewrite it in the way that we think it ought to be done. And you'll be required to sign it," he said. It was a matter of fact. No threats, no outright coercion. But it was very cold after so many years of working closely with them. Because there's nothing to discuss. You could be racist on your own time, but the college won't be racist with you anymore. That's the simple conversation. They want to give me a list of phone numbers. I'll call these people and straighten them out. Bazzi said the university system has attempted to be as forthcoming and understanding as possible when talking with donors as we navigate this change in the law. Brazil said he and his wife are hanging tough on the issue and don't want to abandon our original goals to improve racial harmony at the university. But he recognizes that they may have to adapt and is open to using more need-based criteria or reallocating the funds to benefit transfer students from community colleges. The experience has left him disillusioned, and he wondered whether it might have a chilling effect on charitable giving to Mizzou. Willis Hesketa said that she and her siblings have occasionally added more money to the fund over the years, and that she had planned to leave a sizable sum to the university when she passed. Quote, "Not anymore," she said. "No way, no how if they go ahead with this." Okay, well, you can be racist in the afterlife, but you can't be racist while you're on this earth in this life. Not with the cooperation of this college anymore. Missouri may have been the first state to order public universities to review their race-based scholarship, but others are beginning to follow. In Ohio, where Attorney General Dave Yost issued his own memorandum to colleges a few weeks after the affirmative action ban, public institutions have paused all race-based scholarships while they conduct a review of their legality. Colleges need to come in line with society, and the same for donors. You can't expect a college to cooperate with you in doing something illegal. Even if you think it's for a good reason, don't expect the colleges to go along with it. Let the kids who deserve an opportunity based on their needs get the opportunity to have a great education and then contribute to society. It should never have been race-based. It doesn't need to continue to be race-based to make a real positive difference. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.